Hi everyone, this is Mondays with Marian. So today we are going to talk about mindset. This is something that was requested before I even launched my YouTube channel. So I did a poll on my personal Facebook, my Twitter, and I asked, what type of topics do you want me to talk about? And this really came up. And I think it's because entrepreneurs, people who are risk takers and want to launch their own business need a certain type of mindset to really make it. Whatever success that you have, whether it's financial success or being able to serve and help numerous amounts of people, whatever your definition of success is, how do you achieve that and what type of mindset do you need to have? And for me, personally, I think it's perseverance and consistency, because this is a long-term game. I left my corporate career, I want to say over 4 years ago, and I think I'm still in the baby phases of my whole journey. I already know that I can't go back to corporate. This is something I know deep down inside. So I need to do whatever it takes and really push myself every single time I get knocked down or I fail, which in the long run, I really don't think it is failure. I think it's necessary, because I've learned from every single time I've fallen and failed and gone into my ruts. I've learned something. I think it's just to get back up again and to do it all over again. One of my favorite podcasters is Andy Frisella on Motherfucking CEO. That podcast is awesome. And one of the things he says is that we like to get beat up, we keep going back for more. And I think it's a special type of person or personality trait or whatever it is. And not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I think everyone has their roles and everyone has their certain passions, and not everyone is meant or cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's totally fine. But the ones who do make it and the ones who persevere, the ones who fall and keep, getting back up. And this is even for, people who've had years and years of experience. There's always going to be something that goes wrong or something that happens. Life throws you a curveball. You need to be willing to get back up, dust your shoulders off, and keep going. And I think that's the mindset that I've adopted. There's times where I've royally failed, businesses failed, I've made no money, I've gone broke, and I went through my ruts, really depressed, but somehow I got back up and I made it work. And you just do whatever it takes. And one example I have is when I moved to Miami almost 3 years ago, I didn't really have a solid plan. But I knew that I needed to leave. I needed to put myself in a situation where I had to shake things up and really challenge myself. And to make ends meet, I went back into bartending and serving. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just never thought, I did this in college, I did it for a few years, I already had my corporate career, I had climbed up the ladder, I had my success, quote unquote, and I wouldn't be doing that again. And when I came here, I did. And at first, I was actually kind of really ashamed of myself. I was like, oh my God, I've done this in life and this, and how can I go back to serving? I wasn't proud of myself. But I quickly got over that because I had to make ends meet. So while I, did my freelancing, I had some clients still in LA, and then I had some new ones here, but I hadn't established myself enough to make ends meet and to make extra money. I ended up serving, and it was a very humbling experience, but it was such an amazing experience for me because I met some amazing people, and it really made me value, how blessed and lucky I still had a job, that I still was able to eat and have a roof over my shoulder. Even though I had to give up a lot of luxuries that I was used to, I really had everything that I needed. I got back up. And I worked, and then eventually it came to a point where I didn't have to anymore because my marketing and the real estate was really picking up and I was able to do well there that I didn't need to. But you know what? I actually am so thankful for that experience before that I thought I was too good for, which was really stupid of me, to think that way, I think being in hospitality is an amazing thing to be in, hats off to people who work in the hospitality industry because it's hard. You deal with a lot of bullshit. And I actually think everyone should work in hospitality at least once in their life. And it really develops your people skills, and it develops your patience. It's really great experience, and I'm really glad because you know what? Those places that I worked at ended up at some point or another becoming either my clients, or I worked with them again, or I got referrals from them. So it all, like in the bigger picture, all worked out. But I was willing to, I thought I failed, I was willing to get back up, brush my shoulders off, and just keep going. That's just one of the examples. I have been broke many times, and then I've also made money many times. And you know, every time I've learned from that, now I'm actually doing fairly well, not as well as I'd want to be in my business, but I'm doing enough where I have my luxuries again, and I'm able to do things like shop and travel and do a lot of things that make me happy. I'm thankful because I persevered through all that. You know, you can't wallow in your failures. You know, you give yourself some time where you accept it, you think it over, and then you get the fuck back up and you move on. It always moves. It's never gonna be that way forever. And the more you take action forward, the better you'll be, because you will fail. You will get knocked down over and over and over again. It kind of becomes a muscle, you know, it's a habit. You know, before I used to really get into my long ruts of depression, like, oh my God, I'm such a failure and this happened and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm getting so much better at it. The times where I do kind of beat myself up, and I still do. I'm like, oh, what am I doing with my life? And I question my life choices. Like, is this really the right thing? I snap out of it a lot quicker. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. And I know that this is just all part of the process. The more that I've really changed my mindset into not thinking that it's a failure, but as a learning lesson, and I need to persevere, learn from that, and become better and move on, I've started seeing successes in my life. I've started seeing more opportunities, the right people coming into my life, abundance and prosperity coming into my life, closing deals and making things happen, getting inspired with new things to do and projects to work on that, you know, do well for my business. And, you know, you don't reach the first step to the 100th step without taking that first step, and then the second one, and then the third one. And here I am, still in the baby phases. I'm like still crawling. If you know, you just gotta take those little steps that lead up to the big step. You gotta persevere, and that's the kind of mindset you need to have. So that's what's helped me. Hopefully that helps you. And you just gotta remind yourself every day. It's a habit. You gotta start, you know, thinking that way. You know, what can I learn? What can I do to move forward? Just one day at a time. Because a little bit plus a little bit plus a little bit just adds up. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, feedbacks, comments, make sure to send me an email or comment below. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But yeah, if you have a certain theme that you want me to talk about, email me. Yeah. Bye. Until next time. Thank you so much and have an awesome day.